All right, ready
All right,
for dinner,
so-
guys? Spaghetti, meat sauce, garlic bread.
You guys just come around.
Why not soup?
This is a big kitchen,
Yeah, this is
right? This is a big kitchen.
So Happy New Year, it's 2013, Drago's Head Soup.
And it is New Year's Day.
From our previous recipe, we talked about lab lights, so tonight we're going to talk a little bit about our lab lights experience. Basically what started it was, we were doing a Ouija board session down here in the basement, and a couple of us went upstairs and we kind of looked into candlelight. And for about 10 minutes, right? About
10 minutes, maybe even a little longer.
A little bit
Maybe
longer. So we
yeah.
basically
Yeah.
looked into candlelight on the floor, and then we put the candlelight out, and in the darkened room, we started seeing these red lights, blue lights, white lights every once in a while. The trick is we were seeing the same lights.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah. First off, why would we even do this? Why would we start looking into candlelight?
This Joe, right?
Joe Jackson, one of the things that he apparently did was look into candlelight to improve his batting eye. He would look into it until he went blind, and that would apparently help him with keeping track of the ball coming in. Seances. Cool. Seances, table tappings, that sort of thing.
We're making spaghetti, by the way.
Yeah. A lot of those things are held in candlelight, right?
Yes.
And, well, you do have to say that there is a certain, do I want to say hypnotic? Maybe not hypnotic. Is hypnotic the word?
I think hypnotic would be a good word. I mean,
Okay.
mind trick, hypnotic, that's all a sense of hypnosis. So another thing too, which leads into the Shoeless Joe is also Lou Gehrig too. A lot of people call it blue light meditation.
Oh,
so instead
okay.
of the candle flame itself, if you stare at the blue light inside of the candle flame,
I didn't
which
know
is
that.
the hottest
Different
part of the
colors,
flame,
yeah.
different colors, it plays tricks on your retina
Wow.
as well too. And actually, a lot of the people like if you go over to Ireland or Celtic people,
Okay.
that's how they would communicate with the fairies as well, the
Okay.
fae people. They would stare into the blue light of the candle and call it blue light meditation and try to use that to see the other side.
Okay.
As they
Well,
were-
next time we're doing a session, I got to try looking at the blue light.
Yes, so focus.
The blue light, there are jokes there.
Yeah, there is. I mean, a segue off of that too from the blue light is I don't know who it was, but didn't we have another group come in here that said with EVPs they would use a blue colored light to try to
light,
attract.
yeah.
Yeah, I
You
do
know,
recall that.
They were attracted to the light, and you would get better EVPs
Yeah.
or voice capturing.
Yeah. Let me ask you, that was the first time that you've experienced the lab lights. Tim, have you ever experienced the lab lights here yourself?
I have, yeah. Doesn't happen as often as you guys have, but I have this experience before. I've experienced not just here, but other places as well.
Yeah, which is interesting is that we do take that phenomena out of the lab. So it's kind of, we do see it other places. So did we do something to ourselves?
Is it paranormal? I don't think so. Would anybody else experiencing the same thing think it paranormal? Yes, they would. What did we do to our eyes by doing this? No idea.
Well, the one thing that I remember from it is that, and I don't know if it was a lab light or an orb, but
But there's like a Lucy show going on.
shit.
Mark just garlicked the shit out of Mark.
That'll be fine, guys.
Garlic kills vampires.
Right, at
Keeps
least-
the vampires away.
But there's 2.5 pounds of meat here, so.
At least we're gonna be haunted this evening by vampires.
Oh wow. Well, that's the thing. They're constantly testing.
Frickin'
They're constantly testing to see if anybody in the group has become a vampire, if anybody in the group has become a zombie, if anybody has like what is it?
The Food Network
the
will be
T-virus.
carrying, the Food Network will carry Mark's show in the later years here.
And so today he's testing for vampirism.
Yeah.
Well, my question, getting back to lab lights with you, with everybody here, were they clustered lights? Were they free?
There were streaks, there were red streaks of light, and we would be seeing the same ones.
Okay.
Now Mark and I, George was sitting between Mark and myself,
Right.
and there was a white glowing orb that appeared during this session, and both Mark and I kind of reacted to it. We're like, holy crap, at the same time.
And I miss it.
He doesn't
It's
even
in front of
see it.
me. I don't even see it. So
So the fact that we're seeing it at the same time and the red light streaking across the things is, And we're all seeing it. It was like, it was to the left of you, it was to the left of you. So we were all seeing it at the same time. So is it something that was burnt into our retinas from the candlelight, or was it actually that we enhanced our seeing? Our sense of,
There's a couple different
sense of
things
sight.
that you, go ahead, Tim, I don't mean to.
Well, then how come you only see them at supposedly haunted locations?
Because I'm always at haunted locations.
Well,
It's a good point.
my
It's a good
question was too, is, I mean, you brought up a lot of, maybe not a lot, but at least two different objectives. I mean, you were staring in the candle and we were using the Ouija board down here at the same time.
We were
So-
using the Ouija board. We actually put the candlelight right above where the Ouija board was.
Right. So did the Ouija board open up something, or was it just in our mind the Ouija board opened up something? Because I'm going to tell you, I wasn't up there. I was actually one of the ones down here reporting the Ouija board. And since that point, I have seen what we call lab lights
Lab lights.
here. You know, but again, I've also done the blue flame meditations to, you know, kind of open my eyes up and trick my eyes at the
Okay.
same time. So maybe was it the Ouija board that helped out? Was it the candle that helped out? Was it both? I don't know. Did we create a perfect storm, so to speak?
Well, you mentioned that because the other person here, his name was Matt, he did the Ouija board and he actually has been a different person since then.
Yes.
Which will be on another, there'll be another recipe coming up shortly regarding that incident and the Ouija board and Matt and George, but that'll be another time. But,
Hope you guys like garlic.
Wow.
Well, getting back to you, Tim, I mean, if you could explain to me maybe where the places are that you have seen the lab lights. I mean, or not, I guess it wouldn't be lab lights, but the lights in general.
Well, actually, that night you guys did the experiment, I was not here. But I see these lights also. I've seen it here, I've seen it at the school, I saw it at Bartonville Insane Asylum. And they're just little short specks of light. It's
Burst
red,
of energy, like.
Yeah, red or white. Rarely blue, but it's mostly red and sometimes white. So I've seen it mainly I've only seen it in haunted locations,
Okay. Okay.
personally.
Now I have to ask you, as far as like you have like a two-sided approach to it, because on the one hand you're acknowledging the lab lights as being something that scientific. There's got to be a scientific explanation for it.
Right.
Additionally, you mentioned that it potentially could be something associated with, was it prayer? No, it wasn't prayer.
Meditation.
Meditation. That's it. Does that imply something besides science when you're speaking meditation?
Yeah, actually it does. I mean,
So does that have any kind of conflict as far as how you're viewing this aspect of the lights?
I suppose,
Please, and just for the record, what did he trip over?
Budweiser.
a little bit more.
Frickin' Budweiser.
At least you got that.
Right. I would say, honestly, you bring me into a good segue because the first time, yes, the first time that I actually thought about this was when I first started getting into ghost hunting. I was up in Galena at a, I guess, speaking engagement with yourself.
Alita, that has something to do with, I remember, that's a place, right?
Yeah, up in Northern Illinois here, but it was with yourself and
Oh, I was there.
Name. Yes, you were there.
I was there, okay.
And some lady had approached me that evening, and she said, Nick, I don't know what you're gonna make of this, but for the past month and a half, every night when I would go to sleep, a blue cluster of lights will come out of the closet area.
Okay.
And come towards me, and it does, she said it does fancy formations where kind of hypnotic, I guess to use your
Okay.
words. It would just draw her attention towards it.
Okay.
And I was stuck. I said, I don't know what I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's scary though.
It was a little creepy.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things, so I went and Googled it and tried to research it that route. And a lot of the Google stuff that I was saying was, it's malevolent. It's
Okay.
all stuff that's, but then again, that's a lot of, everybody's common thing is if it's a ghost or a spirit, it's malevolent, so I got into thinking about it, and that's what led me down to that meditation. So scientifically, there's really, if you're meditating on a blue light, chances are you're going to see, just like when you stare at a window and the sun's peeking in, you'll see the burn spots in your eyes from the sun's peeking in, okay? But my thoughts were she didn't stare at a candle, to my knowledge, every night before she went to bed. She just went to bed.
Fair assumption.
So when I thought about that, I thought, well, then there has to be something that's causing these formations of lights. And then maybe when you're calming yourself or in a hypnotic state, which we've done hypnosis and meditation here, you know, when you're in such a state, you're going to open up your mind to things that are just not necessarily always there for everybody to view. So I think it's a combination of both. I think sometimes maybe it's scientifically you got those burns in your eyes.
Okay.
Sometimes maybe you don't. Sometimes you are seeing the manifestation of light from spirit.
You
That's
think
coming
science is
through.
ever going to catch up in that regard?
No, but then again, is science ever going to catch up to deities? Is science ever going to catch up to God? You know.
So were we
That's-
all hypnotized by the candlelight?
Were you, or were you all just had your retinas burned by the flame of the light?
To some degree, I would say that, yeah, I was potentially hypnotized. I was, did something to my retinas. And I gotta tell you, being in a haunted location, the lab is a haunted location, standing in the middle of a rather large room, all your attention focused on one candlelight, you do get the impression that somebody's behind you.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the time. So,
I'd like to add, I think George and I experienced something
the other lights.
it's beyond the lab lights. I call it the aurora lights, because him and I were sitting up in the haunted location upstairs, and we were just doing our usual thing, and all of a sudden, George and I, at the same time, felt like there were like lights illuminating from underneath, and I expected to look down and see my feet. But
Yeah.
up there aren't any windows, so.
No.
But, and the thing is, he was experiencing the same thing, so what is that? And we're both talking about it at the same time.
Yeah, it was,
So,
it was odd.
was that something really wanting our attention? Because I expected to look down and see my feet.
All I can describe it as is like, you know, like when you rub your eyes, you know, and there's like you get like the weird like light, that sort of thing. Like,
Especially at night when you're sleeping, type of thing.
oh, exactly.
Yeah.
So okay, I understand. We're ghost hunting. We're tired. We could have been falling asleep. But again, when you have two people sharing
right.
the same phenomenon, you kind of got to think about it. And again, we're reacting to a light source that our eyes couldn't use. I mean, that's the best way to describe it.
Perfect way to put it.
Yeah, because we both got the impression that we were like that we had light, that there was a body of light, like, I mean, underneath us, behind us, above us, and it was bright enough, as Mark mentioned, that you got the feeling that if you looked down, you would be able to see your shoes. You would, but we're in complete like zero lux, so there's no way to even see our feet. You know, but we're somehow getting the impression that we should have been able to, which was really kind of cool. We've experienced it a couple of times. Have we ever experienced it in the field? Did we once discuss it in the field?
Well, the schoolhouse, I
schoolhouse,
saw
okay.
some energy lights, what I would say were lab lights.
Okay, but as far as the aurora effect that we had,
No, that was that one time.
okay, that's just specific here.
And I can almost relate that to the time where you and I thought something was in front of us, and we both reached out, touched
Yeah.
each other's hands,
Yeah.
and freaked out, you know.
So what potentially, if it isn't something paranormal, if it's something biological, if it's a normal response, what did we do to ourselves? What did we order to eat
Or what
that
it-
night?
like-
What did we?
Back to Nick is what attached to us.
Right, what did the Ouija board do to you?
Oh, okay. Then there's that. Then there's
To open up here.
the scientific world explanation. Then
well-
there's the faithful world
Well,
explanation.
let me tell you, I mean, from a standpoint of the person who was down here
My
operating.
God, is that garlic? What is that?
That is garlic.
That's garlic.
From a standpoint of somebody who was down here operating the Ouija board,
Yeah.
well, that was kind of the response we were drawing out of it. That's what we wanted to happen to you guys. So I mean, to see, and,
That
you,
is
and
true.
again, I don't think you guys could necessarily hear what we were saying. You know, if you could, correct me. But I mean, when you're upstairs, I can't hear what you're saying
No,
when I'm down here.
no, not at all.
I mean, you can hear chatter, but to have something that we request
Yeah.
happen to you guys,
Yeah.
and almost instantaneous. And I think I recall that evening because Tim came down and said, "I think I need to go to church." I really seriously. He came down and said,
Wow.
"I think I need to go see a minister or see a priest." He was that. I mean, he was that touched by what was going on to see. And so again, is that
That's awesome.
the supernatural response, is the paranormal response, or is that just a coincidental response because of what was happening that night? I don't know what type of barometric pressure or light
Yeah.
refraction or, you know, whatever scientific term you want to throw.
Well, we-
Coincidence is what I'm going to throw.
It was the Mayan calendar, man. It was
Well, we
hitting
also,
that 50
yeah,
point.
the Mayans did it.
Did we survive that? We survived
But
that,
there was
right?
we
other,
did.
there was
Okay.
others, there was other
Higher.
paranormal investigators here that were experiencing the same thing, except one. I believe one person didn't see it. So
Who was that?
put your hat back on, man.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
There's an orb right there.
There's the first view.
Who was the other investigator? Yeah? And he didn't see anything.
He didn't see anything.
Who
He
was
wasn't
that?
It was Charlie.
No?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Charlie.
Was
that
it Charlie or Steve Osborne?
No, it was Charlie.
No, that wasn't Steve.
Okay.
I don't recall.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, I would think if anybody's going to be more spiritually in tune to what's going on, I'm going to put Charlie in
Charlie,
because
yeah.
he's got the gypsy blood. He's, you know, he's a tarot
agree.
reader. So I would think he'd be more open to it. So again, begs the question: is it
Again, if it's not
paranormal?
paranormal, it's something
Something that's directly
physical, something
physically-
completely biological, something completely
Or
biological.
something that's attached to us, because let's go back to when we had Ruth here, our psychic,
That's right.
and she said there is somebody that will be here. What was the exact verbiage that was said about us? Somebody would follow us around. Remember Patras Grove?
Oh yeah, I don't remember her exact verbiage, but she basically said that there's going to be people following us where we go, and
Us meaning the soup,
yes,
so maybe it doesn't
Us.
affect other people.
right. And the fact that when you guys were at Bachelor's Grove with Dale and his stuff was going off, and he said that it's never happened before, and you guys are with him, could that be?
Which
referring
ties
to
us,
those-
which brings us back to the first recipe that we were talking about, is were we actually investigating ourselves?
Yeah, yeah.
So that
that's
was
right.
how we tied that
Yep,
back
we
in.
did
So,
that.
of course, we're back in that haunted location. Stay tuned for the next recipe. Thanks for sharing dinner with us.
Hey,
Yeah, baby.
This is a big kitchen.
Nice job, guys.
Big kitchen.